Hello, welcome to another episode of Crimson Artist Audio Reviews. My name is Raj Chetta, and once again, I am doing this on my own. Now, just to give a little heads up here before I get started, I'm going to try my best to see any movie that comes out in the cinema. I don't have the time or luxury to watch every single movie, but I'll try my best. Also, I want to try to keep it very diverse in the movies I review. Oftentimes, I would review web series, and sometimes I would review foreign films. I want to try to make sure that the audience is well versed of not just Hollywood movies, but say Bollywood movies. And this is one of the many reviews in terms of the diversity in my film reviews. Like if you go on my Facebook group, Crimson Artist Movie Reviews, you would see that I have reviewed not a whole lot, but I have reviewed a couple of Bollywood movies that may hit or miss for some. The reason why I don't review a lot of Bollywood movies is because, to me, I just, in most Bollywood movies never really seemed to click with me. It just didn't seem like it was worth my time to review this piece of work. But oftentimes there will come, say, like a movie like Fan, where it pushes the boundaries of filmmaking and storytelling. It makes you forget that this is a Bollywood movie, but it's also just a movie. That's what it is. Because for so long, I'm so used to seeing films from Bollywood that would often be romantic musicals, like romantic comedy musicals, where they would stop the story in place for, say, a dance sequence, like a song number, but quite a few times, actually, especially with films like Fan, where they poke fun at the genre of poke fun at Bollywood itself through the eyes of the fan and the star, which was definitely something I never thought I would see, especially coming from Bollywood. Yes, they had a song and dance sequences, but they were parodies of song and dance sequences. They showed like a behind the scenes kind of thing. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But I'm not here to talk about Fan. I'm here to talk about a different Bollywood movie, which I just saw last night. It stars Hrithik Roshan and a bunch of other individuals I don't even necessarily really know. The film is titled Mahenjo Daro. It is apparently I would say it's based on a true story. I'm pretty sure certain events are fictional, but it's supposed to help us understand the foundation of the Ganges River. It's basically India history, if you will. If you don't know what Mahenjo Daro is, it's an excavated site in Asia where they used to hold a massive civilization, and it was recently excavated back in 2010, I believe. I don't know. I got to look it up again. But I only just recently heard about this place just by this movie, actually. I honestly never heard of this thing before, and quite frankly, I think it's the most fascinating thing I've ever heard of, ever seen. Actually, I personally would like to visit this place. It seems like oftentimes when I'm not looking at movies, being a complete movie nerd, I love history, and this is if you're a history buff, you will definitely like this kind of movie. Maybe not, because there's some things about this movie that kind of that threw me off. But okay, I might be dragging on a little bit here. But okay, so the movie is about like pretty much the how this civilization was established, how it was run back in the day. This was like hundreds of years ago, where it was run by this very corrupt king, and this small time rebel attempts to overthrow said corrupt king, and eventually this entire city goes underwater and all that. It's a very intriguing tale of suspense and intriguement. But that doesn't make the movie overall great, in my opinion. I just think that like they went a little too forward with the romance here. Now, if you know Bollywood movies, there's obviously gonna be a ton of romance in it. But like you see, the thing is, most Bollywood movies hit the romance pretty well. Like it feels welcomed. With a movie like this, it just feels tacked on, and it didn't really do much other than to help motivate the hero into being this, this rebel to help the people. Like it didn't like at the very end. There wasn't any reference to hey they're in a relationship, other than like I guess a little hug or so. But I didn't really feel like it was overall like it should have been like a main central focus. The other aspects of the film, like this character, Hrithik Roshan's character, being very curious over this place. So why does this make such a massive connection to him? And the implications that the corrupt government has been throwing in this very civilization. And like yeah, I just didn't like I those were the highlights in my opinion. The like everything else was fine. Like from the filmmaking, the cinematography in this movie is absolutely breathtaking. Truly recaptures the 2016 BC. Yeah, this took place 100 years ago, a long time ago, where like they really made it seem like it was there. It kind of reminded me of James Cameron's Titanic, where they made it look like the ship was actually there on screen, similar to this gigantic city. It looked phenomenal. It looked very seamless, and I have to give massive props to the cinematographer, the set designer. Everything about that just made it 100% amazing to me. But the movie could have been a little better if they didn't put too much pressure on the romance. So, my final verdict, the performance was really well handled. The story of this man trying to overthrow this corrupt civilization, and to see the civilization completely fall under, was the best parts of the movie. The cinematography, the sets, the choreography. The only thing that truly killed it for me was definitely the romance. I think that it either should have been handled much better, or they should have just like not treated it as a main aspect of the film, which is what the filmmaker clearly intended upon, but it just didn't really work out. I'm going to have to give this movie a final rating of a solid B+. It's definitely there. They have all the right notes. It's just the romance completely bogged the experience for me. If you are a film lover and you're a history lover, I think you'll definitely enjoy it. But just keep in mind that the romance is definitely is something that you might want to think about here. It's not as compelling as most Bollywood romances go, but nevertheless, it was still a truly immersive experience, taking me back so many years, 100 years back, learning about this place, and I want to go to that excavation site to see what it looks like over there. There was a ton of fun Easter eggs, like not Easter eggs, if you will, but like they showed that the artifacts that were excavated at the site itself, they were shown in the movie, which I thought was like really clever and really awesome nod to what happened back then. So yeah, it's a solid B plus. I highly recommend you check it out. With that said, if you hold on. Yeah, B plus. So if you enjoyed the review, please hit like and subscribe. And if you have seen this movie, even if you're not, Hindu based or whatever, if you did, tell me what you think of it. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, let me know. Once again, as my previous review, I will leave a link to my review page where you can take a look at all my other written and audio reviews. Hit like, please subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye bye.